And we are, if you want to turn it, if you want it. Does anybody want me to use the mic?
I think it's on.
Is it on?
Try it.
Hello? Okay. I just got to get really close to it. Okay, well, NFIB is the largest organization representing small business in the country. And in the state of Indiana, we have 14,000 members. And NFIB is probably the most powerful organization nobody ever heard of. Who's heard of us? Oh, well, see, I know Mark Moffett has been here, so, and I came and spoke last year, and I really felt kind of bad because I was pretty much Debbie Downer, and I realized that at the end of my talk that's really, I had given a lot of depressing news. I'm afraid I don't have too much that is thrilling, but I have a few things that I can, so I thought I would call this talk the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, how many of you are either own or work for a small business? All right, so that's most everybody in the room. So you probably are going to know a lot about what I'm talking about. First of all, let's talk about what happened that's good at the federal level. As you may have heard, the healthcare law had a provision in it that was called for you to file a 1099 for every business-to-business transaction. And this provision had absolutely nothing to do with healthcare, but it was in the middle of the healthcare law. And so you would have, every person that you paid $600 to, you were going to have to file a 1099. And I mean, this is just horrendous kind of overreach. Well, that has actually been, that provision has been repealed. So I have that good news to tell you. You won't have that hanging over your head. Also, the healthcare law, you may have seen or heard on the news that, well, first of all, NFIB filed suit with 26 states against the healthcare law because it called for everyone to purchase health insurance. Now, as you may know, and never in our nation's history have we ever required a person to purchase something just because they're alive. So 26 states, including the state of Indiana and the NFIB, we were the only organization that has joined the suit, filed suit against the federal healthcare law. And we have now, we won the first round, we've gone up on appeal, and we just won the appeal. So the next stop is the Supreme Court. So we are hopeful that within the next year, I think the term ends in June of next year, that this will be heard by the Supreme Court. Everyone is expecting that they will take it on because this is something that's got to be decided, and hopefully the sooner the better. So that's good news. Also, a provision that, anybody here in farming, related to farming? Okay, Kyler, you may have heard about the spilled milk regulation that the U.S. EPA was going to require anyone who is a dairy farm. Are you dairy? You're not dairy. But if you had a dairy farm and you spilled any milk while you were milking your cows, you were going to have to treat it like an oil spill, like a toxic.
That's so incredible.
I mean,
So ridiculous.
this sounds bizarre, but it's absolutely true. And who makes this stuff up? You know,
It's so bad.
Song with too much time on
well,
their
and
hands.
another one you're going to face. That's into my bad news section, but that's dust. They're trying to regulate dust on farms.
Yay! We need dust regulation.
Yeah.
Just like, yes, I mean, you've seen the combines going by, and, you know, they kick up a little dust.
Yeah.
How on earth are we going to regulate that? And what are they going to do to you? wonder who sits there, and I think they're in earnest, but it's like, are you clueless? Are you
Someone got their
really
car
out
dirty
there in the
after
real
it
world?
washed or
And
something, huh?
the answer is no. So, well, we did get rid of the spilled milk thing. They finally saw the light on that. That regulation has gone away. Now, I do have good news from the state level. As you may have noticed, the state is doing a lot better than the federal government these days, and in cutting to meet the revenue stream that we currently have, and also we made some big headway. And for a while there, during the legislative session that ended on April 29th, it looked like we weren't going to be doing much, because half of the House left and went to Illinois, and they were there for 5 weeks. And so we were concerned that not much would get done during that time period. But to their credit, when these House members came back, they got to work, and we got a lot of good things done this year. For small business, it's the best at the state level. It's the best year that I can recall that we have had in the legislature. So some really special things have occurred. First of all, unemployment reform. This legislation, as many of you probably know, there was reform that was done in 2009 that called for large tax increases. And fortunately, the legislators got together and decided that we needed something that made more sense to pay over a longer period of time to catch back up, because the unemployment insurance trust fund would have been broke if we had not had a recession, because of the way it was structured. There was a structural imbalance that needed to be fixed. So they went ahead and they got to work and put something together that will pay back the fund over a longer period of time. So those people who have had to lay off and have some increases in their premiums will not have to pay in so quickly. So it will not. So it was basically a tax decrease for them, and also for those people who do not lay off, they are seeing a tax decrease as well. So it's more fairly distributed. Next, the corporate income tax. Anybody here a C Corp? Nope. You might be. Okay. Well, most small businesses are sub S or LLCs.
Well, I'm a LLC.
Okay.
It's a little
But
different.
there are a good number of them in the state, and there's been we reduced the corporate income tax, and as a result, in fact, our NFIB members testified and really helped to get that done. That's going down 20% over the next few years, so that's a significant change, and it's going to be good for the economy, whether other businesses are looking to come to Indiana because of that welcoming tax climate. There was House Bill 1203, which was employee representation campaigns. This legislation protects the right to a secret ballot, so that it protects the worker's right to a secret ballot and guarantees an employer's right to participate in a campaign for union election. So it's kind of like, if you're familiar with what card check at the federal level is, anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, that's where you can just present a card and you're unionized, and you don't have to have a private election. So in this case, it protects the right to a secret ballot. Also, public works projects. This bill raises the threshold for the application of the common construction wage from $150,000 to $250,000 for contracts awarded after 12/31/2011, and $350,000 for contracts awarded after 12/31/2012. Also, minimum wage required by a local unit was what the bill was called. And basically, this prohibits a local unit of government from raising the minimum wage to more than the state or federal minimum wage. In other words, if you've heard of a living wage statute, Rensselaer cannot come in and say, okay, we've decided that everybody in Rensselaer or in this county is going to have to pay a minimum wage of $12 an hour. That can't happen because it's now prohibited at the state level. And then there was a budget. The budget was balanced without any tax increases during a time when we were really hurting for money. So that was also good news. Now, moving to the bad, that's the good news. The bad news, we've got a crop of, and I've got a magazine over here. For our farmers battle a crop of new regulations. So I talked to you about spilled milk. The dust one is a bad one. Also, as we were talking about, the employer mandate for the health insurance, and there's a new health insurance tax that goes along with the healthcare law. It's $87 billion. It's a tax on health insurance policies levied on over the next 10 years. And basically, it's targeted right at the small business market because labor unions are exempt from this. Good news. The ugly, obviously the economy has been a challenge, but I will tell you today I had one of the most positive meetings that I've had in a while, and that was in Lafayette. I think, and it's the second in a series, they seem to be, when I talk to small business owners, they seem to be more pleased with the economy as far as their own personal area, that they're seeing improvement in their world, but they are nervous about the economy and what's going to happen in the future. What we see at the federal level is a trend that is clearly disturbing, and that is that if they can't legislate it, they do it through rulemaking, like spilled milk, like dust, like the tip credit rule that is making it harder for those employers whose employees have tip income. The National Labor Relations Board is doing some things that, unfortunately, we have very little say in. And so far, the president has said he does not step in where the Labor Relations Board is overstepping. So it's something we're going to continue to watch. NFIB is fighting this, and I think by shining the light on this kind of activity is make people aware that these kinds of things are happening. We got the spilled milk rule pushed back. Hopefully we'll do something with this crazy dust thing, and maybe some of the other things that are going on as well. I thought, I'm going to be quiet. You guys came to have a little fun and network, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Now that I've got you thoroughly disgusted. Yeah. No questions? I'm going to ask you a question. How's business? Anyone want to tell me? How's business? I know how Lori's business is.
Yeah, everybody's different.
See Lori if you're upset. How about your business?
Well, I'm newly open, so I've been, a lot of curiosity on the business. I think a lot of them here are even still waiting to see how I progress. It's going pretty well.
How about you, Kyla?
I'm enjoying it.
Business is good? Steve?
Well, we got a lot of rain, so people have to mow their grass. And we had a lot of storms, so I've been very busy doing construction repairs.
But, tell me about your business. What do you do?
A year ago was the slowest summer I've had in 15 years for construction. And I've been doing it for 22.
Commercial, residential?
We do both. And it's just people are being careful how they spend their money. If they have to do it, they do it. If they don't have to, they're not.
you seen an uptick in remodeling instead of building new?
No. And both of them's been slow, but.
Well, of course,
I mean,
you know.
storm damage, we've had so much storm damage, we're still repairing roofs from the storms we had in the spring.
Wow.
But last year, last winter, last summer was the slowest I've had in 15 years for construction.
Well, you're not alone, you know that, it's, and hopefully it'll start
Farm's
turning
doing
back.
good, like Tyler knows. We'll see for how much longer. Yeah,
Yeah, if they leave him alone,
yeah.
so he could do his business. Anybody else? Carl, you're VP. Business is good, you're driving 75 miles to,
VP's got a lot of money. Every time you fill up your car, just like, okay, there you go.
that's right. And VP had some bounce back from last year. Has everybody gotten over that?
Yeah, I'm sure they made enough this year to not even realize what happened last year.
Anybody else?
I have to say something, I'm kind of proud of this. We bought the Ritz in November, and there was a time.
Putting on the Ritz, what is the Ritz?
It's a theater,
All right.
built in 28. When we purchased the place, we were excited to have 20 people come to the door in a week. Now, in a week, we have well over 100 people, closing to 200.
Wonderful.
So, it's still a lot of things for everybody. We cater to families and try to keep everything as inexpensive as we can.
Our family loves you. Our family loves you.
I know.
So you've met Nancy?
No,
You haven't.
we
Okay,
go
I'll
to the
introduce you.
Ritz.
I know.
Highest item on the menu is $2.50.
And when you say on the menu,
We have
can't-
popcorn's $2.50, and then we have pretzels that are $2.50 with cheese. $2 without cheese.
and the butter and the popcorn.
Free. We let you put it on if you want
Oh
yourself.
my goodness.
I really appreciate you because I've had to
She
bring my
taught at
daughter to
KD
work
Hart.
all
She
summer,
retired from
you
that.
know,
She's
and
Nancy
we're
Coco.
2 blocks from the.
Oh, I don't remember
You
what
had
people
to
look
work.
like.
I have to walk down there and go see a movie, so I can get a break every day. And she wasn't upset to see the same movie 3 or 4 times.
Glad to have her.
You know, I know what that meant to the community I raised my kids in, which is in Danville, Indiana, and to have our Royal Theater restored because it was in terrible shape and it was really awful, and somebody had the foresight and the heart to take that building and redo it and open it, and it is very much the heart of that community, and from now they do theater, movies, but then they also have musical groups that come in now, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful renaissance, and I personally thank you for that, because I think that is one of the, you're doing more than just starting a business, you're really helping the community, although every business does in some way or another. Right, Lori? I'm picking on Lori because she's
No,
the
my
counselor.
biggest problem with everything is there's so many changes to Medicaid and there's so many changes to insurance in general that, they change rules, but then they don't bother to tell you what the rules are that they change until you haven't gotten paid for months.
And Lori, they don't know what the rules are yet.
I
with
know,
this
nobody
new-
knows. If you talk to somebody
Lori's
different, they don't
complaining
know.
about the healthcare
Yes,
law,
understand.
yeah, and it's,
Yeah, I understand.
and it's insane because we're operating without a roadmap.
I could see more clients if I wasn't on the phone 24/7.
Now that is
So
a
bad.
quote, you know?
That's awful.
I mean, that's
But it's that way.
ridiculous. There ought to be a
Every
law.
healthcare business.
Oh,
Yeah, get
there is one. Well, if anybody else have a comment or question, otherwise I'll let you get back upstairs to your whining and dining, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Maybe next year I'll have better news.
Hopefully.
I will say though, I've only been doing here for 22 years. A lot of you guys have been running businesses a lot longer than me. But it always seems like when everybody else is complaining that the economy's bad and nobody's making any money, most of the businesses here in Rensselaer always come together and work and survive. And usually we're making more money than bigger towns that aren't, so I think we have a little
Supporting each
advantage
other.
there.
We're a good agricultural community, and agriculture is very strong, and it's a dribble down, you know.
Well, it puts money back in the community.
It does.
They were the
If
dust
farms
makers,
are
I
doing
guess.
it,
I'm proud of it.
And they support their local small businesses too, not just the franchises, so, yeah. I'm
None of us
pleased
may
we-
get any sleep, but we,
Yeah, small independent businesses. I mean, to me,
Exactly.
and I'm, by the way, I'm a former small business owner myself. For over 20 years, I had my own business, and I was a member of NFIB. And really, I believe that owning and operating a small business is the real American dream. Not owning a house, but this is what brought people to our shores. Was being able to start from nothing.
Your shopkeeper.
Right.
Yeah.
Do-
We still are shopkeepers.
Farmers, shopkeepers,
Yeah.
yes. So anyhow, that's my
Mine too.
American dream. Thank you all.
Thank
you
you.
for having me.